Cruiser, welcome to the video. Let me first start off by saying please remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, click on the like button, etc, etc. All the things YouTube people love to say. Woo, woo, woo. So this is, we're here, so we'll just do this, just quickly open this chest. Ooh, ooh, that's very unexciting. There we are, a lot of unexciting stuff there. Lovely. So we're here today for an alliance war. This is actually, no, this is going to be my last alliance war, and I'll be going through why it's going to be my last alliance war as I'm doing the attacks. So it's going to, at least going to be my last, probably my last alliance war, certainly my last alliance war for now. So I'm basically stepping back on this game quite a lot. There are a number of reasons for it. It's nothing to do, and I should stress this right now, it's nothing to do with the quality of the alliance I'm in. They're a decent bunch. They've done a lot. They've got quite a lot stronger in the time that I've been with them, etc. There's no issues like there. So it's not to do with that alliance. It's not to do with my old alliance either. I've been in two very nice alliances, lots of nice people in them and everything else. But essentially, I'm just finding at the moment, I've been playing the game now for, must be getting on for, well, I was here right at the start. I mean, when it was in the sort of beta testing phase. So I've been here for a very, very long time. And unfortunately, with any game, and it's not even a criticism of the game, this bit particularly, they do get stale. You know, you can only play them so many times before you start thinking, oh, it's a bit samey. And certainly what I've been finding is that some of the, you know, the commitments you need to make to stay in an alliance really are just start to feel like a chore. You know, I'm just focused. I've got other stuff going on in life, in real life and what have you. And it just gets to the point where you're just like, I'm not really enjoying this. And obviously, once you're not enjoying a game, it sort of becomes a bit pointless, really. And that's where I am, essentially. So, and it's not necessarily a criticism of the game. There are criticisms of the game, which are, you know, perfectly valid, I think. I would argue that I feel like the game has stopped developing, especially since Zwingo took over Small Giant. It's become, you know, with Small Giant, they would introduce new features which moved the game forward or would make it a bit more exciting or give you something different to do. Find very much with Zwingo, it's more just a case of they just keep repeating the same. So, you know, they like that Battle of the Bands event that they introduced, which was just the same as all the other events, basically. And this kind of thing just keeps going round. Monster Island was a really nice idea. It was good that they introduced that, but then nothing really sort of, you know, they didn't make the most of that. They could have done a lot more with it, made it a lot more exciting. Kept on with it, you know, introduced new features to it. Whereas all they seem to be interested in doing is introducing new heroes. And of course, the heroes are getting more and more powerful, and obviously, I mean, it's obviously, you know, it's the business model. You know, you need to encourage people to spend on the heroes. You need to make your heroes more powerful. Making your heroes more powerful all the time means people spend and spend and spend and spend, and then you know, if you don't spend, you can't keep up, and I don't spend. So some of the new heroes are like ridiculously overpowered. And yeah, you just, you know, it does get, it's this business model, and you sort of think, well, there's no real innovation. It's just repeating the same, you know, oh, let's keep just introducing new heroes, few more powerful heroes. It's a bit like random, this is going to sound like, well, this is fairly random thing to say, it's a bit like Thomas the Tank Engine, in that if you've ever watched it, what the company that own Thomas the Tank Engine do is periodically just introduce a ton of new engines so they can sell a ton of new toys. Yeah, it's not really, you know, it's not character development or whatever else. It's just the same again. I mean, I've heard a rumour that this game's going to have, you know, costumes in it now, which again is just a way to get people to spend a little bit more money. You know, oh, now you can upgrade your old heroes as well as your new ones. And it's like, well, yeah, but basically it's just come and spend a little bit more, because if you spend just that little bit more, you'll get that little bit stronger. And it's just, to me, it's just not a sustainable industry, because it's just not that exciting. You know, they need to come up with something to sort of, well, just make the game more exciting, add something to it. You know, some kind of, I don't even know what, but it's just, you know, nothing new's happening with the game, basically. And as long as it carries on like that, it's not that exciting. So, I mean, I will still, now I know at the start of the video I did say, you know, please remember to like, share, comment and subscribe. And I will still be doing some videos on the game. I'm fully intending to carry on doing Season 2. I like doing the raid tournaments. I do enjoy those still. So there's elements of the game I do still enjoy. It's just really the sort of repetitive nature of certain elements of it and the time you need to spend on it. I just don't really feel like the need to spend the time on it now, essentially. So I will still be doing videos, so please do remember, like, share, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, there we are. So that's roughly where I am. What else was I going to say? I'm thinking about setting up a new alliance, which is going to be called, if I do set it up, it will be called Farmer Ben's Retirement Community. And it will be basically be an alliance which isn't an alliance. So you can go to it if you want to hit a Titan or a War Machine. If you want to hit the War Machine, you can. If you don't. Who cares? It's basically just a place people can chill. And, you know, if you want to take part in the wars, take part in the wars. If you don't want to take part in the wars, don't mind. Basically, it'll be an alliance where I only kick players who are inactive, who just don't even come on the game for like 10 days. And they'll be like, yeah, fine, you're not actually here, so create a bit of space. But I'm not going to be expecting it. And obviously, it's not an alliance to do well. It's a retirement community. It's a place of peace and rest and thoughtful contemplation. That's my idea. But whether I'll set that up or not, I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Who knows? This war's not going too badly anyway. So yeah, so that's sort of where we are. I hope that, you know, I wish the Alliance Invictus, I wish them all the best. Always been a fan of an alliance named after an old steam engine, so it's a good idea on the Canterbury and Whitstable Railway. Also, I should probably mention that I am sort of trying to push my. I will probably do a random video at some point pushing my art business, because you never know. You know, you got to push these things. So I am, as some of you may know, I've sort of set it up a bit of an art industry as well. To paintings of steam trains. I will refer to that. For anybody who wants to find me on Instagram, I am Benny_Powell_acrylics. And I'm on Instagram as that, and I post updates on all my paintings and things there, if anybody's interested in steam train paintings, which I know is a random thing to chuck into a video about Puzzle Combat, but there we are. Anyway, let's move on up the line. We are now attacking Luigi. That appears to be... No, I thought the vampire guy was red here because he had a red background. Let's see. Let's just go mono blue, I think. Nearly always go mono blue. If I'm doing blues, my blues are my weakest, so I just tend to chuck them all in one go. Yeah, so there we are. So, as I say, sort of end of an era, really. It's obviously going to mean, well, I'll probably hit War Machines for a bit, because I might well end up being a merc for a little while. Quite enjoy being a merc. Probably won't do war merking, because, again, it's just a time commitment. But, you know, jump on and hit the old War Machine, that's fine. Help out a few people. Maybe see where we end up, basically. It's a new adventure. But as I say, an adventure with a lot less commitments is what I'm really looking for. Obviously, I'm also, as I sort of have mentioned, I'm looking for a new game. See, what I find, and this is the tricky part, is, as I say, these games, they tend to get stale, and the model is you have to spend more and more and more and more to keep up, until eventually it gets to the point that people can't afford to spend more and more and more and more, and at that point people start dropping out, and that's when the game starts to die. And I think that's just sort of the model of these games. So what I find is that being in a game sort of at the beginning gives you a chance to sort of make your mark. So I'm sort of looking for basically sort of fairly new starting up games which might go places. I know I've got other videos on. There are 2 other games I'm playing at the moment. I do occasionally do videos on those as well. There's The Walking Dead All Stars, which I will probably post a video on. I'm planning to do one this evening actually on that. And there is also Dragonfall Puzzles, which the game just doesn't. It's a nice game, but it just doesn't seem to have really taken off. But they're introducing some new features, so I'm going to sort of check that one out and see if the new features are going to make much of a difference, and then yeah, sort of see where we go. But I am looking for something. You know, I do quite like doing my YouTube videos. I do quite like doing a little bit of casual gaming. I'm not looking for any too serious still, and I'm still looking as a free player, because that's just who I am. Right, let's have a look. I was going to go with my red and green team. See where we go, and then I'll chuck in one final attack with all my purple heroes. Let's see where we're at. Born to Kill. Born to Kill versus Farmer Ben. This Dragon Fist fella is ridiculously overpowered. Again, you know, sort of spend, spend, spend. Just periodically, obviously, with Season 2, they bring out another new hero, and the Hero of the Month this month is insanely powerful. It's just like, what? What? It's like, no, it's just, as I say, it just seems to be the business model. Just keep making stronger and stronger heroes. Periodically as well, they have to then nerf those heroes because they've overdone it. If anybody used to play on Empires and Puzzles, I can't remember the hero's name, but they introduced one tank who was like absolutely unbeatable. She kept like knocking back everybody's mana and then kept bringing herself back to life and things. I can't remember her name, but there were so many complaints about it that eventually they just weakened her. And then of course there were complaints from the people who'd spent a ton of money to get hold of her. It's just like it's the same problems that are happening here. You make heroes stronger and stronger and stronger, and eventually they just become too strong, and then it just messes up the mechanics of the game. So, I don't know. Tough times. Tough times. There's a lot of negatives in this video, in opinions. I'm not sort of having a massive rant and a whinge or anything like. Well, a bit of a whinge, I suppose. And I know it is the business model, and obviously the games makers have to make money. I mean, that's kind of how the system works. I'm not some kind of crazy socialist, but just I think that there needs to be more. It just needs to be more of an actual development of the game rather than just keep constantly adding the same thing over and over and over again. And yeah, there we are. I think that sums it up. Right, so stop complaining. We're on my last war attack. Going in with a purple team. Doing all mono purple. Don't know how it'll go, but at least expect to kill the tank and see where we go from there. 0. I wonder if that's the original 0 from Puzzle Combat. Not Puzzle Combat, Empires and Puzzles. I must admit, at some point I will probably do another Empires and Puzzles video because I obviously haven't played that game for nearly a year now. I won't do it until next year because it was almost a New Year's resolution that I wasn't going to touch it for a year. So at some point I'll revisit it. It'll be quite interesting to see what's changed, what's the same. I imagine it always had a lot more players. It was nice to add so many players, and there was quite a community thing going with it. Well, it was like with this one, but yeah. Anyway, this is obviously not going to go well. This war. Krampus is another massively overpowered hero. As is, in fact, I mean, you know, this guy, all of his heroes are special ones. You basically have to spend money to get hold of. I've got a few of them. I mean, you know, don't get me wrong. I've been lucky with odd summons here and there, but not to that extent. There we are. Let's hit flee. There we go. 20 points, and it's all done. There we are. Well, that's it, really. So, as I say, this is farewell for the Alliance Wars, but there will still be videos and there will still be content. So, please do remember to follow the channel. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Hoil Vower, goodbye, and it just remains for me to say, may death come swiftly to your enemies.